Okay, I want to, we're in Perek Chaf, Shar Aleph Perek Chaf in the Hagah. There's a couple of Hagahs, but we're in the Hagah which starts, Amram Zal B'chol Koichoi Sovel Beis Perushim. I explained a lot of this outside, a little bit of it inside. Yitzchak took me on this tangent of the Kisei HaKavod, which of course is not the tangent, but the source of life. So I want to get back into the Pshat. There's a little bit of, let me just give this a quick introduction. There's a little bit, Yisrael, come closer, I can't screech. There's a little bit of what sounds to be Kabbalah here. It is Kabbalah, but Kedarki, I'm trying to bring it down to a very down-to-earth level, which is the only level I understand it. And there is, my disclaimer is, there is perforce some compromise to the actual Omek Hadavar. This is, we're just touching the surface of what's really going on here, but I'm sacrificing the total Kabbalah for just understanding what we need to understand of it, using it to understand some things. So it starts off with the Gemara. The Gemara says, "Koloina Yeheh Shmeh Raba b'chol koichay, mochlin lo al kol avanoisa." If a person says Yeheh Shmeh Raba mevorach b'chol kocho, so mochlin lo al kol avanoisa va'afilo al chet avodah zarah. The Gemara says, even if you did a chet of avodah zarah, mochlin lo, which is an amazing Gemara and a reason to say Yeheh Shmeh Raba properly. B'chol kocho. So Rashi and Tosfos, I explained. Rashi says that B'chol kocho means B'chol kavanasai, with all your koach of kavana, all your koach in your heart. And Tosfos says no, B'chol kocho means B'chol kocho, means that you should scream it out. So you can scream it out with a lot of kavana. You to both Rashi and Tosfos where appropriate. And here there's another machlokas that he brings here. B'chol kocho. O b'chol kocho shala'ona, o she'Hashem yisparach, shem Hashem yisparach, b'chol kochoso. Another issue. B'chol kocho, what does the Gemara mean if you say Yeheh Shmeh Raba b'chol kocho? Seems to be a machlekes rishonim whether b'chol kocho, whether you are doing it with all, whether you're using all your koach in the bria, or are you enacting Hashem's koach in the bria? Kocho shel mi, kocho shel ha'oina, or kocho shel yisbarach shemo. Meaning, somehow or another, we could say b'chol kocho. Does that refer to? This is deeper than what Rashi and Tosfos. Does that refer to our koach? We have a tremendous koach in the bria. Or does it refer to Hashem's kocho? We're saying Yeheh Shmeh Raba b'chol kocho, with all of Hashem's koach. That's the Shaila. And the Nefesh Hachaim tells us Sovel Beis Perushim. They're both true, and you can do both at one. You can learn both at one time. Inyan, like it says in the Torah Chumash, Ba'ata Yigdal Nakoyach Adonai. There's such a thing as us giving koach to Hashem. In other words, Moshe Rabbeinu says, now that we are doing the mitzvahs, Yigdal Na Koach Hashem. Hashem, you have more koach than the bria. It sounds hard to say those words, but it's basic. That it's how could we give Hashem koach? Hashem is the Bala Yecholos Kulai. He puts into the bria as much kocho as we let in.
How do you define koach?
To make the hashgacha pratis. So he puts as much hashgacha pratis as we allow for. So we're saying now that we're making room for you, here's the keli. So now put everything into it. Put everything into it. Like a it's like you would say to an executive employee, I'm giving you everything. I'm giving you the car, I'm giving you the office, I'm giving you the secretary, I'm giving you the business class trip, I'm giving you everything. So now do what you can do. It's funny to talk about HaKadosh Baruch Hu as an employee, but that's the way Hashem set up the world, that He's taking our cue, He's working on us. Ator yigdal na koach Hashem. Now that we've done this, Hashem should be gadol. Now that makes that brings sense to many tefillos that we say, Tnu oz le'lokim. Many tefillos that we say that we're davening that Hashem should have koach. davening for Hashem. It's for ourselves, but we're davening for Hashem. V'lochen, Yeheh Shmeh Raba Mevorach. Let the Shem Hashem be Mevorach. We're giving you a bracha to be able to help us. You know, any of us that are in the business of helping people, the right thing to do is to ask the person you're helping to be bespalo that I should have the koach to help you. Makes perfect sense because it's totally in the person's chus, the other person's chus, that you have the siyata d'shmaya to help somebody. So we're saying to you, be bespalo b'chol koichay. Amnam beza pirushim hema b'chada machta shesharish makar shefa kedusha v'abrachos b'shem Yeheh. So now I started to explain this Oyser Veinik. Now I want to explain it inside a little bit. The Shem Hashem is Yud. I'm saying the name of Hashem not because don't do this at home, but for educational purposes, it's mutter. The Shem Hashem is Yud Hey Vav Hey, right? Yud Hey Vav Hey is divided into two. The Yud Hey is in Shemayim. The Vav Hey is here. Why that is, we'll explain. But what we do know is Ki B'Yah Hashem Surei Lamed. That nothing gets higher than the Yud Hey of the Yud Hey Vav Hey. The Vav Hey is how HaKadosh Baruch Hu's energy, Kiviyachol, manifests itself in this world. So there's Yud Hey in Shemayim, Ki B'Ka Hashem, Ki B'Yah Hashem Sur Olamim. So the source of creation is in the Shem Hashem Yud Hey. Just like Elokim is Midas Hadin. So the same thing is, every Shem has a different energy to it. The Shem of Yud Hey is the Shem of the Bria. B'Yah Hashem Sur Elamim. David HaMelech told us that. B'Yah Hashem Sur Elamim. So you can't get higher than the Shem Yud Hey in terms of trying to get to the source of all energy and hashgacha pratis in this world. Does it always manifest itself? So we learned, Tosfos says in the beginning of brachas, that Amalek did a job on this. Yad al keis yah. Milchama Hashem. Ein Hashem, the Gemara says, Ein Hashem shalem, Ein Hakisei shalem, Ad sheyimcha zecher Amalek. That when Amalek came along and did, and I explained this at length, is it put a mechitzah, habarzel, an iron curtain, between the Yud Hey and the Vav Hey. Kloimar, between the energy of creation, which is happening every second, and how we see the creation, the energy that we absorb from the creation. Amalek said, Hashem is not necessarily ruling in this world. Would it be easier for everyone if I stood up? I don't mind standing up. Is that okay? The Yud Hey, Vav Hey, is Amalek came along with his chutzpah and said, there's no hashgacha pratis in this world. We don't have to worry about Hashem in this world. We can make milchama with Klal Yisrael. What they did was they were sacrilegious, if that's a word. There was a sacrilege there which said, you don't have to worry about Hashem's presence in this world. Meaning, interesting, they acknowledged Hashem. Yad al keis yah. We put our hands on the kisei, we put our hands on the yah. Don't come into this world. This is our territory. It was like the Tower of Babel that we just learned about last week. It was we are naselonu shei. By the way, they weren't completely wrong because we do have a koach as we're learning. We're saying let our koach. It could be for kedusha, it could be for tuba. Let our koach push away the Hashem. We don't want Hashem's involvement. Our job is timcha zecher amalek. Remove the hand from the kisei hakavod. Remove the hand and let the vav hey roll. Let the Vav Hey absorb into this world. So you understand the symbolism of B'Yah Hashem Surei Lamim. Now leave us alone. It becomes a sort of the Amalek becomes a little bit Aristotelian in the sense that he believed, and he writes, Aristotle, he believes and he writes that God created the world. He agrees, but that he runs the world, Mapitom. That's the Aristotelian thought. That's Amalek. That's Amalek. Umimenu, so everything starts from the same Yud Hey. Umimenu mishtalshel umismale oilam habriya. From the Yud Hey comes to the world of Bria, the second world, hu oilam hamachshava. Umimilu yahei shelashem Yud Hey biyud. Now that's the complicated sense. Everything I said now was kid stuff. this is the real thing. Milui hahei shilashem yud-hey b'yud. Anybody want to guess at that? Even if you don't, let me say. What's the milui hahei? What is he talking about? So, let me explain something here, and this is really the clear of what I want to say. Milui. A letter, the Hashem created the world with Aleph base. So says the Gemara brought in Sefer HaYetzirah at the beginning. What does it mean? We always see pictures of the Alephs and the Gimels flying down from Shemayim. That's not what it means. What it means is that Hashem is beyond any type of understanding, any type of articulation, any type of description. Pashut, beyond anything that we can explain. The world, we have scientists, we know what the world is. The beginning of the Haskalah of the Bria was Aleph Beis. Aleph Beis, Gimel, Dalet, those are the beginnings of the articulation, the beginnings of Gashmius, if you will. It's like if you're trying to say something, trying to articulate a thought, if we're trying to articulate a thought, the first thing you have to know to articulate something is Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. After that, you can start to put those letters together. After that, you can start putting words together in a sentence, in a paragraph, and you can come up with a thesis and the theory of relativity. But the first part of it is the Aleph Beis. So the shot is when Hashem created the world, the osios of the Aleph Beis are the beginning of creation. That's why the osios of the Torah are so important. It's so important. You can scramble those osios and it'll still be the energy, the words, the letters. There's 600,000 or so letters in the Torah because there's 600,000 Jews. That's the essence, the ingredients, the raw material of creation. I spoke once about the Gra. The Gra talks about that. I think somebody mentioned this last time we were learning that the last 8 psukim in the Torah where it says that Moshe himself wrote by Yamas Moshe, and Moshe died, and everybody cried. How could that be written by Moshe? So the Gemara says, according to one opinion, that everything until there, HaKadosh Baruch Hu dictated and Moshe wrote. And these last 8 psukim, Hashem dictated and Moshe wrote with tears. He didn't repeat it, he just wrote it with dema, with tears. So the Vilna Gaon says, how could it be that I mean, what does that mean? Was there a difference between the 8 psukim and the last psukim of the Torah? Is there not a difference? So he says that how could Moshe Rabbeinu write something which is sheker? By Yomas Moshe Rabbeinu didn't die. He's writing it. How could he write it if it's not true? Nevuah, we could all write, by Yomas. We could all write after 120. We're all going to die. So the Vilna Gaon says that we're reading the words wrong, and dema, in this case, is a lashon of dimua. Dimua in Taros is when tevel and kodshim get mixed up together. It's a scramble. Now it has to be all sorted out. So Moshe Rabbeinu did not write by Yomos Moshe that Moshe died. What happened was Hashem gave him all the letters, and Moshe Rabbeinu wrote all the letters. And then it was the Yoshua that came along, and he unscrambled it, and he saw all these letters in it. What was the tachlis of putting all the letters there? Who knows what order it was in? Moshe Rabbeinu just said orders. There was no sheker, because he said, okay, now I'm getting to the raw materials of the the Bria. I'm not going to write words, how they articulate, how they form. I'm just giving you the oisios. And that was written bedema, not with tears, but bedimua, all mixed up. A beautiful and important and probably famous Vilna Gaon. But this is the energy that we're talking about here, the energy of the Aleph base. The letters themselves, and here's where the side of it begins. The letters themselves have an energy, but we don't understand that energy until you take apart the letter itself. So taking apart the letter itself is in 2 ways. One way is you could take an aleph, let's say, and say, well, an aleph, there's your vav, and there's your yud, and there's your yud. So you have 26, which is the Shem Hashem, aleph. Yeheh. You could do that with every letter. That's one way of taking apart the letters, that an aleph equals 26. Another way of taking apart the letters, that the Arizal wrote a whole book about, Shar Kavanas, is to write the letters bimiluam. What does that mean? That aleph, you could say aleph, or you could say aleph is aleph lamed pei. So now the aleph has 3 letters. So now when you rechav it into an aleph, it's hard to do. When you're mechavan to an aleph, you don't just mechavan the aleph, which is 1, or not even just the 26, which is on the face of it. You're mechavan an aleph, a lamed, and a pei. So that's called milui. There's great significance to the fact, you see, because think of it this way: an aleph, a beis, a gimel, they're just symbols. They're really just letters. They're just symbols. They symbolize something. What do they symbolize? So they symbolize a phonetic sound, mitzad echad, and mitzad sheni, they on the one hand they symbolize the letter, and on the other hand they symbolize what they really mean and what really goes deeply into the letter, which is an aleph, a lam, and a pei. Le'inyanenu, Yeheh, Shmeh, Raba, Mevorach. That's what we're analyzing over here. Tosfos says in the name of the Machzor Vitri, if you recall, that Yeheh, Shmeh, Raba, that it really means Shem, Yud, Hey. Shmeh is Shem, Yud, Hey. So Yeheh, Shem, Yud, Hey, which we learned is the letters of the Bria, Mevorach. That's what should be blessed. The Shem, Yud, Hey. What does it mean to bless the Shem, Yud, Hey? So, okay, listen to this. The Yud, B'yah Hashem Sorei Laviv. Hashem created the world with the Yud and the Hey. It's a Gemara. Yud, he created Olam Haba. Hey, he created Olam Haza. Gemara. What does it mean? So let's analyze the Hey. And this is what he's referring to, the milui of the Hey. The milui of the Hey, and listen carefully, this is high tech. The Hey, the letter Hey, how do you spell Hey? Huh? Hey, hey. How else do you spell Hey? Hey, Yud. How else do you spell Hey? Hey, Aleph. So you could spell it Hey, Aleph. So it could be, a Hey can be Hey, Aleph. It could be Hey, Yud. It could be Hey, Hey. So says the Arizal. Yeheh, Shmei Raba, Yud, Hey, Aleph. Yeheh, Shem, Yud, Hey. Yeheh means, let's look at all three of them. Let's look at the Hey with a Yud, Yud, Yeheh. Let's look at the Hey with a Hey, Hey, Hey. And let's look at the Hey with an Aleph, Hey, Aleph. So Yeheh, Hakdama, Yeheh. Otherwise, what do we say Yeheh for anyway? Doesn't have any other pshat once you know this pshat. That is the emes pshat of Yeheh. Now let's talk about Yeheh, Shmeh, Shem Yud Hey. So let's do the Shem Yud Hey with a Yeheh. Everyone's with me?
Why is the Shmeh?
Shem Yud Hey.
Why is that? The Shmeh itself.
What about it?
Why is that completing that? It's the Yud.
Why
is that the name Yud Hey?
Because we're talking about we're trying to approach the Yud Hey. So Yud Hey Aleph, Shem Yud Hey, which is in Shemaim, Yah Hashem Sorei Lamim, let that be Mevorach. And we're going to be Mevorach it by our Kavana, there's a lot to think about, by our Kavana of the 3 miluyim of the letter Hey. We don't get into miluyim of the letter Yud, or at least not right now, because it's too high. Yud is talking about, so here's the way it works. You have altogether a Yud, you have 3 ways to spell Hey, equals 4. Keneged, you can't make this stuff up. This is all in the everything. Keneged, the Arboi Lamas, Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira, Asiya. Understand this, that Atzilus is the world which we do not understand. It's above Bria. Miodea. Who knows? You can only imagine. But on this it says that we're not supposed to think Ma'lamalo, Ma'lamata, Ma'lafnim, Ma'lachar. It's too much for us. From the world of Bria, we can understand. We like to try to think everything is from the world of Asiya, your scientific analysis of something. But there is deeper than that. There's the world of Asiya. On top of that, the world of Yitzir, the world of Bria. Those are really all our stuff. From the Kisei HaKavod down, those are places which we can approach, and that's the place that Amalek approached. Ki Yad al Kesiyah. He took the Aleph away, right? He took the Aleph away from the Kisei, and he took the Vav Hey away from the Yud Hey. Ki Yad al Kesiyah. So now what we can understand is the world of Bria, the world of Yitzira, and the world of Asiya. And I'll tell you, we can understand as much as we can understand it. We can understand it. So it works like this. If you're trying to approach, what are we trying to do when we're davening? We're trying to say, Hashem, it's very simple Kavana. Hashem, be involved. Be involved in my life, be involved in my world, be involved in the world at large. Let there be peace in the world. Let there be good health, let there be happiness. That's all we're saying. Lama tastir panecha mimen. Why would there be a hester panim? Break through the Amalek. This is something, says the Nefesh Hachaim, that you can do two ways. Sovel beis hapirushim. That could be with our koach of understanding the Bria, Yitzir, and Asiya, and it could be with Hashem's koach of the rays, the sun rays, if you will, being so strong that it breaks through those clouds. But this is our little world that we need to understand. It's not even, I hope I'm saying correctly, it's not even infinite. The only thing that's infinite is Hashem. So infinity begins in the world of Atzilus. When we're talking about the world of Bria, we might not know how to understand it because it's so big, all the neshamas, etc. The world of Yitzira, all the malachim, maybe there's thousands of malachim, up and down, but it's not infinite. The only thing that's infinite, ein gvul elo echad. It's only the one.
So, Rabbi, is it fair to say that when we say something's of mediation around it's not a reward for doing it, it's a consequence?
That's very good. When the mevatel gzeros, as you say, or as I say in a more positive way, bringing the Or Hashem, ki bi'or panecha nasata lanu Torah chaim v'avas chesed u'tzedakah u'vracha v'rachamim v'chayim v'shalom. Those are the things that we're asking the Or to break through into the world of Bria, into the world. Look, we said there's neshamas of tzaddikim tachas kisei hakavod. Let's have them. Hey boy, where are those tzaddikim? Give us the energy to be tzaddikim. Give the door tzaddikim. That's one thing. You know, malachim. You made malachim. Hey boy, Avraham Avinu had immediate access to malachim. Do we? You know, so we're asking Eliyahu malach habris, Rafal malach refuah. The only thing we see is the Malach HaMavos. So we're asking for a breakthrough, the Gilui. See, Yaakov Avinu climbed up this ladder, he saw all this. He went through the Arba Lamas, which is the same as the seven Spheroids, but this is all in these three letters. Yeheh. Yeheh. Yeheh is the highest world that we can access. So we're saying Yeheh. Let the Shem Yud Hey, which is way up there, Nachon, that's represented by the Yud, way up there, like the Gemara says. Let that start to descend upon us. We'll get like a Beis Hamikdash, Mashiach, Gilui. Let it start to descend with a Yud, with a Hey, and with an Aleph. The Bria, Yitzira, and Asiya. And that's what we're talking about with Yeheh Shmeh Raba. Just a little bit to try to get a little bit more, just to drop more, is that it's interesting that we're taking the Shem Yud Hey and we're bringing it through these worlds, yes? We're schlepping it into this world, ends up with an Aleph. Starts with a Yud, because Yud is similar, Hey Yud. Yeheh, right? That's the order. So the Hey Yud is similar to the Yud, which is where we're starting from altogether, Kibika Hashem. So the Yud is closest to Hashem, right? Just like Yud Hey. So now we have Hey Yud, opposite. So you have the same oisius of the Yud and the Hey. So it's the closest to the Shem Hashem. So that's the highest milui of the Shem. Hey Yud. It's the same as Yud Hey. Except it's from our angle not from Hashem's angle. So you see how what the Nefesh Hachaim is saying, you can learn both pshatim is true. On the one hand, it's coming from up to down, which is Yud Hey, down. On the other hand, it's going from down to up, which is Hey Yud. So in the highest world of Bria, the highest approachable world of Bria, we switch around the Hey and the Yud, and we're talking about the Yud. Yeheh. And then we go to the Hey. The Hey is Hey Hey. The Hey is where creation begins, where Yitzira. Yitzira is where things begin to get formed. Yitzira is where everything starts to happen. Formation. It's not just the world of Bria, which is Golan. It's the world of formation. That's what the world of Yitzira means. So now we're talking about Sirius Olam Hazeh already. Hey, hey. It be Yah, Hashem, Surah Elamim. That those Yud Hey, the Hey is Olam Hazeh, and therefore the Hey is already talking about the world of formation. And the Aleph, which is the world we live in. We live in a big Aleph. So the Arizal says interesting. He says, look at the Aleph and look at the Yud. The Yud is one pintala. It's just there. The Aleph spread out in every different direction. Ufaratzta, Yama, Vakeima, Tzafarna, Vanegba. The Arizal says that the Aleph is going in all directions. Big machlekes. Look at the Mishnah Berurah Lamed Hey, how you make an Aleph. It's a big machlekes. If you want to have Mishnah Berurah Tefillin, right, Daddy? You want to have Mishnah Berurah Tefillin, you have to have the little thing. Everything is important. Like, what direction is it going here? What direction is it going there? Is it curved up? Is it curved to the side? That Aleph is like very, very important because the Aleph represents our world. Mitzad Echad. Mitzad Sheni, it represents our world, but it's a culmination. It's the holiest world, the world of Asiyah, because it's a culmination of all the worlds beyond it. So it's like Iber Gechazert, everything that came until the Aleph. So Aleph, who knows one? Aleph is Hashem. So when we get to, so the avoda here is, the avoda is to take everything which is esoteric, if you will, and to bring it into a place of, this is the Kavana, bring it into a place of Asiyah, of Aleph, that ain't oid milvadoi. There is nothing else but HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We've so penetrated the world with Kedusha. We've so infused the world with Kedusha that now it's an Aleph of Yeheh Shmeh Raba. So that's our tefillah.
So that's why I'm going to protect the Aleph. Trying to understand that.
So that's what. So Amalek. Very good. Thank you for reminding me. So Amalek said, let's get rid of the Aleph. Yad al case Yah. The Kisei is in the world of Bria. Let's get rid of the Aleph so that there is no that Hashem has no power in this world. Look, you can ask this question: were they so deep? A bunch of whatever they were, Amalekites. A bunch of Nazis. Were they so deep? Of course not. Of course not. Maybe Bilam was deep, but they weren't deep. They don't have to be deep. Like in Yiddish, there's an expression. A shoyte can oichet kol yamachim. A nar can oichet, a ketzel can kol yamachim. To destroy, you don't have to be deep. To build, you have to be deep. So what do? Like keep God out of here. That a shaita could say. It's the sophisticated person that can say, bring Hashem into this world, bring Hashem into this life. See what in the Migdal Bavel, the big chet of the Migdal Bavel is when they said, V'naseh lanu shem. Shem. Hey shem yud hey. Shmeh. Naseh lanu shem. Let's make a name for ourselves. This is our world. What do you think it means, by the way? Well, Kol HaNeshama Tahalel Yah. Kol HaNeshama Tahalel Yah. Anyways, let me save that question for a little later. A different generation. But we understand the Milui, we understand the Amalek, we understand have a grasp of the Milui, a grasp of Amalek stopping the Milui. We understand that Tzivui to be Timcha, Esecher Amalek, and we understand the Kavana of Yeheh, Shem Yud Hey, Mevorach, and then we understand the Kavana, which the Gemara calls Mevorach in Brachas, Yeh Shem Hagadol, Yeh Shmeh Raba, Yeh Shmeh Raba. You can put the comma there. Yeh Shmeh Raba. Your name should be great in this world. And it could be, like the Arizal says, Mevorech La'olam La'omei Omaya. And then it should be Mishtalshel repetition. La'olam, La'olam, Ul'omei Omaya. So again, we have the three worlds of the Yud and the Hey and the Aleph. La'olam, Bria. Omei, Yitzira. Because why is it plural? Because everything gets separated there. Double Hey. La'olam, Ul'omei, Omaya. So where we want to do is get everything to Omaya, to our world. Omaya.
I noticed in the Siddur that the Yeheh Shmeh, they don't have the Yud.
Right.
Is that intentional or just that ignorance?
I don't know. They also don't spell out Yud Hey Vav Hey in the Siddurim. So maybe it was. There reads out Siddur, it's in there? You look? There you go. Or positive shot is that the printer didn't hold of the Machzor Vitri, he held of Tosfos. That Shmei means something else. But he's telling us to hold like the Machzor Vitri. Let's go a little further in the Haggah. Umei olam habriya mismale olam hayitzira. What we need to understand is from the world of Bria, the world of Yitzira gets filled up. Usharish haschalos hadibur v'hegyon lei. So this goes back to what I said a few minutes ago. That in Bria, in the world of Bria, there is no dibur. Kol demama daka. There's silence. Let's get a little bit of Havana here. A little bit of Havana. I mentioned this a number of times. My Iker Makar is from the Ma'aral in the beginning of Derech Chaim, right? The beginning of Avos. That the way Hashem created the world is Pirud Acher Pirud. Meaning everything starts with one, and then it explodes into parts and parts and parts and parts. Most obvious example is Zachar Nekeva, look in the Chumash, was one, right? And then it breaks up into a lot of different pieces and places. Who was just saying, was somebody here was saying, was I saying, I don't remember who said it. It's like interesting that Rashi says that Adam Arishon, before the Nasira, before he was split up, so he was looking for who his soulmate is, and Baal Kol Behemos V'Chayu Shebegan had a relationship. He tried out a relationship with every animal in the Gan, and he couldn't find his Zivugay Ad Shematza Es Chava. So it's funny that he just didn't look on his right on his back, like right here, So you always find things in the last place you look. But it's so it's the shot is that until two things are separated, it's not there to find. You have to sort things out, whether you're a scientist or a psychologist or a Talmud Chacham learning a Gemara. The idea is, you see, it's the Amoritz, person who doesn't know how to learn, that makes everything into one thing. The kind of a Torah, that's like this, and this is like that, and that's like, it's the Talmud Chacham, the Lamdan, divides the issue. Don't compare things. See, when we start to compare things, we got into a lot of trouble in learning. Don't compare things, say what the difference is. This is the whole brisker derech of learning. Two dinim. The Rogatchover said when he heard that Reb Chaim had 2 dinim for everything, he says, I have 3. See, it's the goiness here is to be able to sort things out. If you tell a scientist water, he's not looking at water, like what is water? That's like silly, liquid. So, talk about hydrogen, talk about oxygen, talk about the biological parts of every single component. Then you're understanding what it really is, and you're understanding what to do with it, and how to break it up, and how to build with it. So the way the world works is interesting. It starts off in one big place, because that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need the division, but as it comes closer down to earth, it divides more and more. So a Zachar Nekeva became a Zachar and a Nekeva. The Adam HaKadmoin, if you will, became civilization. And ultimately, the job is, the goal, the ya'ad, is to bring it all back together again. The more individuality that there is, the more emes there is, because we're understanding, for instance, individuality. Everybody in the room has a different way about them, has a different type of brain, has a different type of look, has a different type of personality. Everybody's different. This is good. It would be extremely boring to sit here and speak to a bunch of, clones. Everybody's exactly the same. We don't like that. Like, the whole beauty of it is, you open up a page of Gemara, the whole beauty of it is that there's 100 ways to learn every one thing. So you need that kind of individuality, and that's how you get all the contributions, and you need all the different animals in the world and all the different elements of the world. You need all that. However, all that being said, that we're breaking into and that's the end of the Bria. Starts off and it gets more divided. Bria is one, Yetzirah is more divided, Asiya is very divided. So by the time you get to Asiya, it's so divided that Efshir, says the Arizal, below Machlekes. How can we not have Machlekes? How can you not have Machlekes? If I'm different than you, we're going to have Machlekes, right? You're going to have politics. You're going to have, this is everybody's koach. Everybody's koach doing what it's supposed to be doing, stepping on the toes of everybody else's koach. So, how do you manage that? So the answer is, you need a Mashiach, to come and to tie it all together and say, look, a machine has many, many moving parts. It's not in competition. It's good. It's good. Like the carburetor. Don't worry about the spark plugs. This is not your business. Let them do their thing. You do yours. We're all working together to make the car move. So it's ridiculous to say that it's just one thing, a car. That's silly. On the other hand, if it doesn't all come together as one, so then you can't move. You can't have pieces working independently. So if you want to understand sort of achdus in a very sophisticated way, the achdus doesn't mean we're all the same. Doesn't make a difference what you are and who you are and what color you are, and we shall overcome. It doesn't mean that. It's just what it means is that we recognize the individuality of every single person and every single item and every single animal, and the ecosystem is such that you need ants and you need bears and you need everything. Which is the only problem with things becoming extinct. It took me a long time to realize. They always say, oy vey, minks are going to become extinct. Does anybody care? If minks are going to become extinct, if we keep on wearing mink stoles, or that, what is it in Australia? They're very worried about there's a certain pine tree called the Yuan pine. So, Loyalenu, it's becoming extinct. So it becomes great laws about if you find Yuan pine, you have to turn it into the government. You're not allowed to cut down a tree. It takes a Yuan pine tree, Huon, I believe. It takes a Yuan pine tree 600 years till it becomes a tree. But it was hard for me to feel bad for them. Okay, so it becomes extinct. My life is not going to change even if he was there. So the answer is, there's an ecosystem. What we have to be sophisticated to realize every single item in this world is important. This is the olam of Piruda. On the other hand, it ends off. It ends off with the Aleph, which is so interesting because the Aleph, and hear me out on this. The Aleph, as we said in the name of the Arizal, is going in all directions. Bo, Sham, everywhere. Yeah, what does Aleph mean? Aleph means one, together. The son said to Yaakov, it's all about the Aleph. We're all together on this. So it's an interesting, what you have is before the Bria, you have one type of an Aleph. And after the Bria, you have a new type of an Aleph, which is an Aleph which is going in all different directions, yet sticking together. And in a Sefer Torah, if the Aleph is divided anywhere, in any which way, you no longer have Aleph. Now you have two letters. You have a Vav, an Aleph, and an Aleph. Beautiful, but it's not an Aleph any longer. So that's what we're talking about over here. The Aleph is the end, because the Aleph is the beginning. I just want you to understand this, so we can go further on in the next year. The Aleph ends off the Bria, and the Aleph is, this should be really our symbol, our logo for life, where the Aleph is on the one hand, it's not a Yud Pshuta, it's an Aleph which is composed of many letters, 4 letters, and goes in all kinds of directions, and yet it's all stuck together as one Aleph. This is Achdus, and this is Shalom. This is what Shalom means. Shalom means Shleimus, that you're putting all that together. And when we're talking about Yeheh, Shmeh, Raba, Mivarach, La'olam, Olam, Me'omaya, we're talking about bringing it all the way down to this place. Okay, we stop here and let the birds take over.